All right, so today, just for a change, I'm going to read a poem that I just heard, and I've read to you poems from Naomi Shihab Nye many times. Kindness in particular is one that I've read to you all, but this one, I just thought would be nice for us. I'll read it and then we can sit and you'll probably see why I'm reading it. It's a very short poem. Fresh, by Naomi Shihab Nye. She's a Palestinian woman. To move cleanly, needing to be nowhere else, wanting nothing from any store. To lift something you already had and set it down in a new place. Awakened eye, seeing freshly. What does that do to the old blood moving through the channels? So with those words in mind, I'd like you to sit comfortably in a chair. If you don't feel like sitting on the floor, you can always lie down. The main thing is that you're sitting comfortably, no struggle in finding an upright posture. And those words, and I've used them before, see anew. See with a fresh new eye. So much of what goes on in our own minds and our bodies is habitual. It's habitual patterns of thinking, it's particular habits in the body. And can we see afresh? It's challenging. But use this time just to rest, just to gather, to strengthen. See if you can catch a glimpse of no contraction or self-improvement. See if you can let go of everything imposed and mechanically controlled. Allow yourself to surrender to the unknown. And see if that makes space for glimpses of peace and silence within. And perhaps, and I was talking to Tony right before class, but it's so important to have good friends who can help you see in a fresh way, see in a fresh new light, not from a habitual patterning, which we all have. With that said, you can fold the palms in front of the chest. May I be a boat, a raft, a bridge for all beings to cross the flood. May I be a resting place for the weary. May I be medicine for all who are sick. May I be a lamp in the darkness for those who are lost. And may I do so as long as earth and sky and galaxies exist. Until all are enlightened, I vow to be here to serve them all. And then when you're ready, gently, if your head was bowed, lift your gaze. If your eyes were closed, open your eyes and stretch out your legs. Okay, so I know some of you just have come in. I did read from Naomi Shihab Nye. I've read her poems before on kindness. This one is fresh if you want to look it up. Hi, Lubna. Let's see, Peggy, Elaine is here. Anita, welcome. Welcome, everyone. So we're going to start, and this is something that I've been meaning to teach for several weeks now, and I've forgotten every time. This is particularly, it's a way of doing relaxation, which we did a lot during, actually still COVID going on, but a way of a decentralized relaxation. So get a blanket and I'll show you how to fold it because you're going to put it in a very distinct way on your forehead. So this is the shape of the blanket and then you're going to fold it in that manner. Okay. All right. So today we're doing some abdominal work, but what we're going to do is do abdominal work with the first chapter being a lot of groin openers, because if the frontal groins are not open, it's rather challenging to do abdominal work. Yeah, Rosie, that's fine as I'm reading that. Yeah. Hi, Lindsay V. So take the blanket in this manner, and well, there's actually two ways you can do it. So you could do it like this and take the feet to the outer edges of the mat. You'll start with bent legs, extend one leg, then the other. So you're in a wide, decentralized shavasana, which will help you relax your abdomen for the work to come. And then you can put, this is the easiest way to put the blanket on the forehead. But I like it this way because watch, I'm unfolding it. And then I'm taking my hands with the heels of the hands closest to my nose and pulling the skin down from my scalp to the basically what you call the cheekbones, right? So I'm pulling down, and you can leave the hands there for a while and then spread the skin. So you're pulling the skin down. Those of you know Rosie and others, Shanmukti Mudra, it's very similar to that, and spread. But the weight of the blanket, which you don't have in Shanmukti Mudra, really helps to quiet the mind. Those of you, many of you I know in class are prone to headaches. This has been really helpful, right? Lindsay V and others. This I've taught, Lindsay, you know this one. You could also put, if you're close to a wall, you can put the, what I would say, back of the crown of the head and back of the head up against a hard wall as well, or even a block. But just to make it very simple, put the blanket unfolded and then pull the skin down from the crown to pretty much your cheekbones, and then spread the skin. We did this last weekend, if you remember, in that back bend that I taught with your hands at the occipital ridge. So just stay here for a moment and enjoy the breath. Yes, good. I'm glad to see many of you, Tony, that's really good, having the legs to the outer edges of the mat and then just pacify your abdomen. So, you know, everyone comes to class with, you know, maybe some of you have just gotten up, but maybe others of you have been up since 5 and you've already had a lot of things going on. So this will feel particularly good if that's the case. But it's a way of doing shavasana that I particularly enjoy. Do have the arms just close to the hips, not touching the hips, with the palms turned up so you can fix the shoulder blades flat on the back, which was the theme, if you remember, last week, just building week to week. Again, just enjoy the breath. You might find that the exhalation gets a little bit longer as you stay for some time. Just relax the arms. The arm skin, the upper arm is turning from the inside out. Resist the temptation to press down on the spine. So the spine remains, you don't want to stay in alert, not sleepy state. It should be moving slightly away from the floor, but without over-efforting in that action. And then completely from the spine, expand out from the core to the periphery, feeling your embodiment. If it's helpful for you, if you still harbor any tension in the abdomen, put your hand below the navel, swipe it in the way that we often do Supta Padangusthasana 2 and Supta Padangusthasana 3. Use the hand to encourage the abdomen to become quiet, to become passive. So I hope that you'll put this way of doing shavasana into your toolbox. And if you have a tension headache from time to time, that you will call this, you have the smrti now, the memory in your body to recall it. So now when you're ready, gently bend the legs, place the feet flat on the floor, and then roll to your side. Oh, Lubna, I wish that Lana was here because she wanted abdominals, and that's what we're doing it.
I thought she was joining too.
Well, maybe you can text her.
Yeah.
Right? All right, so now we're going to do one more to pacify the abdomen. Again, this one we do a little bit more often, but again, have the mindset, these are just so good to keep in your toolbox. Oh, speaking of the devil. So we're putting the bolster now in a horizontal manner. And this is a way of doing Supta Baddha Konasana to pacify the abdomen. Those of you who are able to bring your bolster in closer and your heels in close to the perineum, then move to that and then decentralize the arms. So feet are elevated on the bolster in Supta Baddha Konasana. If you want to put the blanket on in the same way we did for the skin of the forehead, then do so. Okay? All right, let's just do these. It's wonderful to start, I think, with two supine, nourishing poses. Okay, Alana, I was just saying, we're doing abdominals for you. I was wondering where you were. Okay, those of you who can, that's it, Tony. You can hold the bolsters on the side and bring the heels in closer to the perineum if it doesn't bother your knees. Just rest there. If anyone is experiencing any outer hip pain, then wedge in 2 blankets, or you can even cup your hands in that area. But best to put, that's good, Lindsay B, good. Okay, just relax. Feel how this one also spreads your lower spine. We often use this in back therapeutics as well. Back is flat, the feet are elevated, so it's conducive to allowing the lower lumbar to spread from the center outwards. Again, keep moving the trapezius. We worked with those themes last week as well, away from the neck so that the cervical spine chases the thoracic. Elongate the sides of the throat, but relax the sides of the throat. And let the gaze of the eyes be downward, as though you're looking into your chest. Again, those of you who are able to, if there's no pain in the pit of the knees, then you can move the heels in closer. You can just hold the bolster and slide the feet closer to the perineum, so you're broadening across the pubic plate, thereby spreading the abdomen as well. Good. Lindsay, that's a good way of doing it with toes at the wall as well, especially if you want to separate the toes. Okay, now when you're ready, just take the hands to the backs of the thighs. Some of you have the blankets there. Draw the knees in, draw the knees into the chest, Dvipada, knees into chest. Do have the feet hip width apart. Do spread the toes. Open up the soles of the feet. So, I often say this, but, Dvipada, don't look at any pose like a throwaway pose. There's work to be done. There's mind-body work to be done, paying attention to what's happening in the toes and in the arches. Think of when the feet are flexed in this position, dorsiflexion, how you feel a current of energy, which you're about to use momentarily through the legs, the tubes of the body. Okay, and now classically we'll begin in Adho Mukha Virasana to Adho Mukha Svanasana. If anyone has back pain, you can put a blanket. So you're starting with your feet together, your buttocks to your heels, and you're extending through the arms. Beth, I hope that's okay on your shoulders. Adho Mukha Virasana. If you have any shoulder restriction, take the arms out to the side. Yes, or go wider, or even hands on blocks. If the buttocks, good. I'm glad to see that those of you whose buttocks are not coming to the heels, you've placed support underneath your forearms. That's the very best way. Or one can sit in a chair and extend the arms. Do turn, knowing that we're going to do dog pose next. Open up, like you opened up the feet, open up the hands, press the entire circumference of the hands and feel that energetic lift through your inner arms as you continue to turn the inner upper arm skin from the inside out. Okay. So you're preparing for dog pose in a second through child's pose, present with the arms. Now from an all four position, you can show me in profile, take Adho Mukha Svanasana, come up onto the balls of the feet like we did last week. It's a very effective way of opening the backs of the knees. And now slowly, imagine I'm standing behind you, taking the roots of your thighs back. Well, then you can just do Ardha Uttanasana. Take the legs back. A lot of that's good. You can come into plank, a high plank, if you feel any restriction in the outer shoulder, same Malubna, or you can just simply take the hands onto blocks and turn the palms out. So you're coming in, you're staying in dog pose. Unfold your legs, everyone. Unfold the legs, meaning open the backs of the knees. Turn the inner thighs to the outer thighs and see if you can sink the heels down. Sink the heels down. Run the feet parallel to the outer edges of the mat. Okay, and now down you come. Take a bell. We'll do Supta Padangusthasana 1. So as I said in dog pose, you have to open the back of the knee. So what we'll do is we'll start, and we've done this before, actually. Jarvis just taught this on Saturday, but we've done this a lot in the class. So Rosie, I'm saying that because I know you did this with Jarvis. So take your belt. And we're actually going to do Supta Padangusthasana 1, starting with a bent leg. In just the same way that oftentimes we come up to dog pose and the legs are slightly bent. All right, so you're going to bend the leg, Ekapada, and again, work the feet, meaning open up the soles of the feet, spread the toes, and then you'll put the belt on, and then keep the leg slightly bent. You can see my leg is slightly bent. So we're making it a process, right? And it's important to make, as you do yoga, to be present, right? And then you're going to stretch the leg up and open. See, this is not quite open. I have to press the top of the thigh back, but you have to pair that with extending from the inner knee to the inner heel, and then pull the strap down so that the back of the knee opens circumferentially. All right, so make it a process. You know, you don't have to go back to the final pose. We will indeed move the leg toward the chest, but it's the process that I'm looking for. Meaning you have to, what's that? You have to be present to win. I love that. You have to be present to win. Okay. So that, have that adage in mind when you're doing Supta Padangusthasana 1, starting with bent leg. That's it. From Ekapada Pavamutasana, make it a process. How, you know, ask yourself, how does one straighten the leg? I remember years and years ago in teacher training when I think it was 1999. And Patricia asked us that question, write an essay on how do you open the backs of the knees? How do you straighten the leg? So the root of the thigh, in fact, hold the strap with the left hand, put your right hand on the top of the thigh where the thigh and the pelvis meet and press it back. Now pair that action, double action, with extending from the inner knee to the inner heel. And then finally, triple action, pull the strap down to the chest, lift the heel up, toes down, pull down, and open the back of the leg. Keep the hips, remember the metrics of Supta 1. The hips are balanced side to side. Don't let the right side shorten. That means that the outer right hip is lifting up. And if it's difficult, then I would recommend, as we've done many, many times, to use the traction belt and then move the leg. So we're making it a process. You've got to be present to win. Doing the pose mindfully, not in a scattered, fragmented way. That's the habit of the mind and the body, to be fragmented, to be separate. Go to your maximum wherever that leg is. I shouldn't say maximum, because I don't want you to go to the maximum and finally lifting the chest, lifting the head. I want you to just keep moving the leg toward the chest based on your hamstring availability. At the same time, that's good, Mary Beth, press the right thigh, left thigh down. Okay. Make a mental note to how this leg feels. Are you really opening the back of that right knee? Okay, now take Dvipada again for symmetry. Separate the feet, flex through the feet, spread the toes. Feel the energy through the lower legs, actually through the feet, through the arches in particular, through the lower legs, and then through the upper legs. All right, extend the right, and then Supta Padangusthasana 1 from bent legs. Start there. It's very good to start in Ekapada because, as you know, it's an abdominal pose. It moves the leg, the front of the thigh, toward the chest. And then take the leg up. So again, ask yourself, how do I straighten the leg? And then if it was helpful for you to hold the strap with the opposite hand, in this case, the right, put the left hand on the root of the thigh, press it back, double action, inner knee to inner heel, triple action, pull the strap down, lift the heel up, toes down. Now begin to move the leg. Observe how this side, and it will be revealed rather quickly. Does it have more mobility to move on the left side than the right? Just observe. So your mission, should you accept it, is to understand your body, how it moves. Right side, left side, and everything in between. See how the abdomen is moving the leg. The abdomen moves the leg. It's not just about the hamstrings. I don't know if there's any pose that's just about one thing physically. Keep moving the leg. Observe again how to keep the back of the knees open. If you have to go back and use that method of putting the hand on the thigh, do so. Or, for that matter, use the traction belt. All right, now to reiterate and point out that Supta 1 is an abdominal pose. Once the leg gets past 90, we're going to do it without strap. Who knew? So you're going to go back to Dvipada, then watch. No strap, take the leg to 90 degrees. Now it'll become a little bit harder because guess what? You don't have that triple action, right? You can do the hand position. You can extend from the inner knee to the inner heel, but you can't pull down. So I have the memory of my leg straight, and now I'm moving the leg. What moves the leg is are your abdominal muscles, the 6 of them, right? Abdominis rectus. Now, remind yourself when you move the leg, you have to keep the metrics of Supta Padangusthasana 1 still there. So if you have the long traction belt, 8 feet or 10 feet. Yeah, the lumbar, yes, in terms of the lumbar spine should not be pressing down into the floor, okay? It maintains its concavity. It might reduce a little bit, but we're not aiming to flatten it out. It'll feel like the sides of the waist are moving back. Okay, so start when you're ready. And so you're not holding the foot. It's no strap. If you have the traction belt, Nancy, that's great, because that will keep that's excellent, Nancy. Yeah, and can put the belt in the air. Now, good, Tony, move the leg. Yeah. Keep moving it, make it one singular sensation, not back and forth if you can. So you're moving the leg from your abdominal muscles. So you're moving it in not so much this way, but moving it that way, right? Keep going, keep going, keep going. You, of course, you'll feel it in the hamstrings, but what moves the leg? It's the abdominal muscles. And that's really important, especially if you're interested in doing Virabhadrasana 3. Really important. See if you can stay. See if you can stay. Peggy, see if you can press the top of the thigh back a little bit so that the back of the knee opens more. It's hard because we've lost the strap. Remember what I was talking about, the triple action? So we've lost one of the variables of the triple action, right? Okay, and change sides. So it's, you know, I'm not getting a great sense of timing with that. I hope that people could stay without belt 2 minutes. All right, so go back to Dvipada for symmetry. Then Ekapada, work with the feet. And now take the leg up without holding, because holding is actually easier. Strap is easier. Now keeping the leg straight, that's the hard part. Keeping the hips balanced. Some of you have the traction belt, that will help a lot, keeping the hips balanced. Now begin to move the leg. That's it, Beth. Move it. Move it beyond 90. So the mover of the leg without belt, without hand, are your abdominal muscles. Good, Mary Beth. And those of you who want to take on that Virabhadrasana 3 that I taught last week, that Lana demonstrated, this will help. I mean, there are other factors in that Virabhadrasana 3 that I taught, but it certainly will help. Okay, and then release. So what I hope that we can do is work to about a 2-minute timing each side, right side, left side. That will also help you in the Urdhva Prasarita Padasana, which we'll do later. Now we're doing Supta 2. I'm going to show you in this manner. So I'm decentralizing my left leg. I'm going to take my right leg in, just putting it off to the side of the mat. And then I'm going to take the right leg out to the side. But I want, you can see I'm using my left hand as we did in the supine poses. I'm going to take the right leg out to the side, but I'm initiating that action with the turning. Now, it's interesting, this pose, because many times it's taught we take the leg out, then we turn. That's not, you know, it's not about one is wrong, one is right. We're focusing on the abdomen today. So we'll say, we're doing Supta Padangusthasana 2 from and for the abdomen in this way. All right. So what I would say is initiate the leg out to the side by swiping the abdomen from the right to the left. And then you'll lift from the pubic bone to the navel on that left side as you go to the right. So it's a double action in that way. All right, see if you can coordinate swiping the hand from the right to the left, turning the abdomen to the left, and lifting from the pubic bone to the navel on that side. Observe the breath as you take the leg out to the side. Keep turning, yeah, right arm straight. Keep turning that skin as you did in dog pose from the inner to the outer. Good. Decentralize your other leg because that will help you balance side to side. So turn the abdomen. Don't lose the left side of your beam. In fact, if you want to, you can put your left hand on the top of your left thigh and press it down. Supta Padangusthasana 2, good. Keep the right leg straight. Just look, everyone, at your right foot and run the baby toe side of the foot parallel to the floor. So the heel isn't up and the toes are down. The four corners of the knee are facing, you know, if the wall is behind you, facing that wall. Keep turning the abdomen from the right to the left, lifting from the left, from the pubic bone to the navel. On that left side, and then take the leg up. Extend it. Now decentralize the right to the side of the mat, maybe about 3 inches, not too much. It's really just to balance the body side to side. And then take the knee in. Supta Padangusthasana 2. Hold the strap with the left hand. Extend your right arm out. Yes, and now use your hand, put the right hand on your navel band and initiate. It's happening pretty much simultaneously. So as you turn from the left to the right, take the left leg out to the side, lift again from the right side of the pubic bone to the navel. So you can see when we do postures, the same postures in many, many different ways. So we're doing this one today for and from the abdomen. This allows you also to feel some stability in the sacrum. Okay. Keep that left leg straight, and once again, observe the foot. Keep it parallel to the floor as you continue to press the right thigh down. Feel the buttocks evenly balanced. The left side should not be met. That left buttock should weigh no more than the right buttock. Chances are then you've taken the left leg too far out to the side, and you need to raise the left leg a little bit closer to the ceiling. Good. Okay, now just do a flat Baddha Konasana. What we did earlier with the feet on the block. Spread your lower spine. Bring the heels in as close to the perineum as your knees will allow. And now we're doing Supta Padangusthasana 4, but not going to the final one. We're just doing what I call the figure four. So this one, I'm going to show it from the side, okay? And then I'll show it from the front, okay, where the shin is running parallel to the collarbones. So what I don't want to see is the shin angular in nature. This is angular. So in that case, you have to decentralize the knee, and I'm going to teach this afterward too in the upright stage, or I'll call it Utthita, Supta Padangusthasana 4, so that the shin is parallel. Oftentimes we let the foot track over to the left thigh too much. So the shin is parallel to my collarbones, and this way I'm getting into those external lateral rotators in my right hip. If you want to, if it's more comfortable, place your left foot against the wall. That's fine. I'm just doing it freestanding. It's easier for me to show it. Okay? All right. So Supta Padangusthasana 4, sort of the beginning stages, figure 4. Run that shin parallel. Yeah. So, and now put your right hand on the root of the right thigh and turn. Turn it. Turn it. The whole event, the main event here is to get into the corner of the outer right hip. And you won't get that if that shin is angular. Put your hand on the root of the thigh, that thumb and index finger, as we know and love to do, and turn the outer hip inside out. And then we haven't done the Utthita variety in some time. I think it's been about 4 weeks. We're going to do that today. Okay, change sides when you're ready. Observe as you did in Supta 1, and especially in Supta 4, there's usually a distinctive difference in the two hips for most people. Okay? Remember, if the shin is on an angle, then decentralize the left foot a little bit. The left foot should not cross over to that outer right thigh. Decentralize, meaning move it out, good Peggy, out of the median line. I'll show that standing in that same manner. Good. Getting into the outer hips. This can be done on a chair as well, sitting and coming forward. And most of you, since you don't have a trestler or a high stool, I'm going to show it in that manner because maybe Rosie has the trestler or the high stool to do Utthita Supta 4, or you can use the chair. Okay, well done. All right, now you're going to come up, and I suspect for most of you, but I want to show this in a few ways, we'll have a chair, and you can build up some height. Nancy, you use the draw, which I really like that in your old place, but you don't have the draw anymore, but it worked beautifully. I loved when you used to do that. So I'm going to show you on my better side, because as I alluded to, the sides can be dramatically different. So let's just say you're the kind of person who has the chair and the two bolsters set up. Now I'm just recommending this because we don't want to start off too high, but we don't want to start off too low either. So watch, I'm standing very close to the chair, mindfully coming into this. And again, it's that same geometry, shin parallel to my collarbones. Root of this thigh is not forward, it's pressing back, turning the back of the thigh inside out. Now, if my right hip was tighter, like my left hip, I might have to lower the height in addition to decentralizing this leg. And then finally, lifting both frontal hip bones up in this direction as I press the root of the thigh back. Now, some of you who might be able to use the back rest. So this is fine on my right side, but not fine on my left side. So here it is with the back rest of the chair. Now, ideally, I know people don't have the stool, some do. The stool works beautifully as well. So I'm just showing you different heights. So play around with it. Remember, don't be too far back, guys. That's good, Mary Beth. So stool can work and the trestle can work. Lana, make sure so you know it's too high if the right buttock is lifting, then you know it's too high, right? And then remember for the hip, Elaine, yours could be a little bit higher, I think. Can you raise the height? Maybe with another bolster or blankets or even the cork blocks. Tony, good. All right, these look really good. Beth, excellent. Now Beth, that's really good. Press the root of the thigh back. Root of the thigh. That's the left thigh. Back. Get into the, Anita, try a little bit more height, I think. Maybe, although this angle's not great for me to see. All right, stay with it. Yeah, that's good, Lana. Pull it down. Beautiful. Tony, that's excellent. I'm glad to see, at least from my vantage point, everyone on the screen, the outer right hip. The hips are balanced side to side. Of course, it was easier on the floor because the floor does that. Remember, press the root of the standing thigh back. Good, Nancy. You missed that draw, but this is working well. All right, now mindfully, I say mindfully because, you know, the setup can fall over, one can land on their head. All right, change sides, observe the difference. So if this left side that you just observed that in the figure 4 on the floor was tighter, you probably have to decentralize or even go lower. So observe, be present. Nancy, I think maybe a blanket could work on this side, just a thin blanket. I want you to get good, Lindsay V. Get into that hip, standing thigh back. So this is Utthita, the standing iteration of Supta Padangusthasana 4, which is a wonderful. You can throw your leg up on a kitchen counter, right? You just decide, you're cooking, you need a hip stretch, throw the leg up. All right. Now take the leg down and do Utthita Bekasana. If you don't want to use the chair, you can go to the wall. You all know this. We've done this a gazillion times. Utthita, let me show you from the side. Utthita Bekasana, abduct. So you can bend the right leg, stand on the left thigh. Don't list to the left side. Abduct in that standing leg. Open up the groin. Those who can hold the foot with 2 hands and aim the inner right heel to the outer buttock. Yeah. Now, Nance, remember how the chest, so remember the direction I gave you in the previous pose. Lift the sides of the pubic bone. When you're bending the right leg, that right side of the pubic bone wants to drop. Don't let it. So there's a lot of work to be done. And then Lindsay V, the possibility, if there's just, you can stay where you are, but one of the best ways to do this with a knee, for a knee, is just to place the knee cap actually on the seat of the chair, and you'll get something out of it. Okay, change sides when you're ready. Do lift the chest up. Remember, there's a tendency to bypass the groin. The chest comes forward. Can you keep the chest upright like in warrior one? Like in warrior one. All right. Now we'll do Ekapada Bekasana because you should see this, they're similar. Obviously, this is Utthita, the standing variety. So now when you're ready, just come down and do a quick Bhujangasana. This one, because we did it last week, just so that, so Bhujangasana, you'll turn the thighs from the inside out. You place the heels of the hands by the armpit chest, keeping the arms bent, keeping the feet pressing. Raise the chest. Look forward from the bridge of the nose, and then you'll take Utthita Bekasana, this pose, on the right side when you're ready. Okay, so a quick Bhujangasana, just to work the shoulder blades. Good, Mary Beth. Arms are bent. That's it. Look forward from the bridge of the nose. Keep that gaze long so you don't get that horrible bend in the back of your neck. Yeah, so in this one, Nance, you can do it with the forearms on the floor, but the classic way Bhujangasana is this. So the forearms are not on the floor, just the hands. And I'm pressing the feet down and the hands down to lift the chest up. It's not a huge action. Keep moving that thoracic spine in, all that work we did last week. All right, now Ekapada Bekasana. All right, so you're taking the left forearm in front of the chest. Remember how the shin was parallel to the chest? Same thing with the forearm, unless you have a shoulder issue, and then use the principle of decentralization to take the left arm out to the side, right? All right, so I'm pressing my left forearm, left hand down because I want to lift my chest up. Then I'm opening up that whole groin. So I've turned the thigh from the inside out as I did in Bhujangasana. Keeping that right groin glued to the floor, reach back, you've got to bend the leg, and then put the thumb on the big toe side of the hand, and then quickly turn the hand, lifting the elbow up toward the ceiling, and aim that inner heel to the outer buttock as you just did in the Utthita variation. Keep lifting the chest. If you're not getting much lift of the chest, put your left forearm underneath, on top of a blanket. Okay, and then release and change sides. I'm glad we're doing this. I know it's harder than the Utthita, the standing variation, but it's good practice. So I would say if there's any knee issues, Lindsay, yeah, do with the chair. Okay. And then again, press the right forearm down. Again, if there's a shoulder issue, decentralize that arm. That's the principle. And then watch the left thigh, it wants to splay out to the side. So again, pressing that left groin down, aim, yeah, even more, Lubna, even more, keep that groin glued to the floor because we're doing this for the abdominal work. All right, now take a Bhujangasana in between, I should say in between, you did the right side, left side. Take a Bhujangasana again, hands up by the armpit chest, keep the elbows bent. Look forward from the bridge of the nose. Use your feet, the tops of the feet. Unless if you get cramps, then you can tuck the toes under. I understand if you get foot cramps, then tucking the toes under might be helpful. Okay, now from, let's see, stay prone. We're taking Adho Mukha Svanasana again from a prone position. For the upper body, for the abdomen. Remember to open the backs of your knees. Up you go. Remember, don't have the feet too close in. If you would have dropped that plumb line of a belt from the hip, the toe, it would be equidistant from hip to toes, hip to wrists. That's it, Nancy. Open up the backs of the knees, all that work. Press the hands down, go up through the inner arms. If you're not doing this dog pose, you can do Prasarita Padottanasana or Concave Uttanasana or modified Virabhadrasana 3. Okay, now come down, rest in child's pose. All right, we're going to do one-legged Adho Mukha Svanasana. Actually, you know what? Before we do that, let's do Virabhadrasana 1 with the back left heel at the wall. Rosie, if it worked for you on Saturday with the belts, the 2 belts turning the inner thighs, I think I saw your chat on Saturday and I felt the same way, that it was like a platform. So why don't you do that? All right, just because I think you had a good experience. All right, so you're going to do Virabhadrasana 1, just one standing pose today with the back heel at the wall. Why? Because it's easier to keep the back leg straight. All right, so when you come into it from the wall, obviously you're not jumping. All right, so you're going to start in this position and then take the arms up and use the arms to lift the trunk off of the hips. That's a healthy action for the hips. And then do a few times with movement. Go down and then we'll stay for a bit. So we'll do it that method. All right, take the legs wide apart. Remember the back leg. Make the good, Maribeth, make the back leg like dog pose. Put your hand, everybody put the left hand on and the belt, Rosie is doing this obviously. Turn the thigh from the inside out. Bring that left frontal hip good around. Then take the arms up and now go down like you would in an Utkatasana. Do that 6 times so that it becomes more and more easeful. Sit down, but as you sit down, keep the back leg straight. And of course, push the heel into the back wall. That will help. Sit down. And then once you've done 4 to 6 times, stay there. Reach up through the fingertips, kick the dorsal spine in, and if it's possible for you to look up, look up. Abdomen moves slightly back. Abdomen moves back. Not pushing the contents of the abdomen forward. And now well done. Inhale, come up and change sides. Arms down, change side, left heel to the wall. Some of you, I think, have to take a little wider stance in order to bring the knee over the ankle versus walking that front foot out. All right, now, again, back leg straight. Use your right hand now to turn the back leg from the inside out. Open up the back knee. We did that for the first half of class. And then reach up through your inner arms. Lift the trunk off the pelvis. That's a healthy action. Those of you who attended Karen Stefan's work, she worked on this. And now sit down. Go down. Go down. Sit down. Go down. Lindsay V, I think you can do that. Yeah, you don't, I think you can do. Oh, okay, I get it. All right, then stay with your forward bends. Yeah. And then stay for about 30 seconds. That's good, Nancy. Back leg straight. Back leg straight. Back leg straight. All right, now come up and now take dog pose. Elaine, you can do modified warrior 3. Take dog pose again, be away from the wall, be away from the wall. We're doing Ekapada. All right. Now, just stay in dog pose, and I don't do this yet, but typically, we teach, as I said, we teach poses, same poses in different ways. So for many years, we'll tell students to lift one leg up from the root of the thigh. That is true, but that is true. But I want you to contact the feeling of the more visceral part of your body, the organic part, which is right below the navel band, and lift the right leg, bring the feet together, lift the right leg up from the abdomen. In the same way you move the leg in Supta 1, lift from the core. Extend through the inner heel. Open the back of the knee, which is challenging because now your back leg, which is the aerial leg, has nothing to press into. Descend it. And now take the left leg up. All right, lift from the abdomen. See if you can lift the leg up. Of course, you're lifting from the root of the leg. Beth, watch that crossover effect, because from that vantage point that you're showing me, that left leg was crossing over the right. Keep the arms straight. And then additionally, I know this is hard, don't let the thoracic spine come forward. Okay, we're going to repeat it. Everyone take a child's pose. I think that, oftentimes this is often done almost like a throwaway pose, but there's a lot to this pose. The arms want to bend, the thoracic wants to come forward, the outer hip wants to hike up of the standing leg. So, there's kind of obstacles on the path and pitfalls, and we have to be attentive to it, even though, we're taking a dynamic move. All right, so what I'd like everyone to do is show me frontally in this manner, okay? So that when you lift the leg, I'll see what's happening to your arms and the corner of the left hip when you lift the right. So we're doing it again. If you need blocks, that's fine. Those of you who are not weight bearing, you can do modified warrior 3 and get all the pertinent and lovely actions in Virabhadrasana 3. Okay, just rest there. We're going to go up in a second. All right, take Adho Mukha Svanasana and observe the metrics. The legs are straight. The arms are straight. Arms are straight, legs are straight, thoracic spine is moving in. So the question is, can you maintain those metrics when you lift a leg? But we're using the abdomen to lift the leg. Bring the feet together. If you're tired, just rest in child's pose. Okay, bring the feet toward each other. They don't have to touch. Lana, that's really good in the armpits. Now lift the root of the right thigh up. That's good, Lindsay. Because you can do all the supine ones. Lift the root of the right leg up without any distortions, without listing to the left, without bending the arms, without the thoracic coming forward. That's challenging. Without bending the aerial leg. Imagine the foot, good Beth, pressing into the wall and then descend the leg. There is so much to this pose. There's really a lot to be gleaned from Ekapada Adho Mukha Svanasana or modified warrior 3. Again, lift the left leg from the contents of your abdomen. Lift as though you are lifting a balloon away from the floor. Keep the aerial leg straight, keep the arms straight, without listing to the right side and without letting that right hip pop up. And then, of course, descend, take a well-deserved rest, child's pose. Actually, take it this way, just because it's a wonderful way to do child's pose. And Lindsay, this is also an opportunity for you. If you stay supine, but just remember this in your toolbox. So you're rolling the blanket, not too big a roll, descending the roots of the thighs with the pronated palms, and then reaching forward. This will feel particularly good after Adho Mukha Svanasana, one-legged. Okay, just to remind yourself of these tools. All right, now we're going to, in a moment, we're going to do one more. Elaine, you don't have to do Urdhva Mukha Svanasana from Adho Mukha Svanasana. You can just do it from a prone position. So what I'd like you to do is everyone get blocks. And you're coming into Adho Mukha Svanasana onto the tops of the feet to Urdhva Mukha Svanasana to open up the groins, okay? When you come onto the tops of the feet, which we've prepared, it will affect your tailbone moving in, much more so than being on the balls of the feet. Do 3 in that manner. Good, Tony. Yes, you can come into it from a prone position. Yes, from prone to Urdhva Mukha, or go prone to Adho Mukha Svanasana, because there's many different ways to come into dog pose. That's good. Now press the palms down, get that energetic lift through the inner arms. Some of you have to drag the pelvis closer, good, to the bricks. Drag the pelvis, open up the groins. This is the final one for the groins. Good. All right. Now come down, and I think, Lindsay, I don't want you to do these. This is too much. Just stay with either the supine or the seated forward bending. All right. So we're going to start with Urdhva Prasarita Padasana because we've prepared the groins to do it. So watch. I'm going to hold the sides of the mat, bring the knees into the chest, and then stretch my legs to 90 degrees. Now, because we've done a lot of leg stretches, you might find that the legs are beyond 90 degrees. Hopefully they're not lower than 90 degrees. All right, then have a block. We'll do that for about 10 seconds. And then you'll have a block nearby, place it between your thighs, not between your knees. This will allow you to feel your abdomen drawing back, but again, there's a natural rosy concavity in the lower spine. And then those who can, take the arms overhead. Unless you have a shoulder issue, then don't do that, or do it in the way, Lubna, to set up your bolsters behind you so you can rest your forearms there. All right, let's take it Dvipada. Legs up, good, Mary Beth. Legs up when you're ready. Have the block nearby because you're going to put it in between legs. If you're showing me your profile, I can tell. Bethel, now the legs are, because the legs are beyond 90. Yeah, open up the backs of the knees. Remember, you have to. So here's the thing. We did a single leg in Supta 1 without the belt. You have to use your abdomen to let those legs stay up in the air at 90 degrees. That's what's keeping the legs airborne. Now, to feel that more acutely, put the brick, the sponge works well, foam works well, between the thighs, not between the knees. Yes. And now feel how the sides of the waist probably went down. The good thing about the brick, not only does it help you propriocept your abdomen, but also keeps your legs straight. And then stay, those who can, take the arms overhead. That's good, Lindsay. Take the arms overhead as I'm moving along. If your arms don't come to the floor, then by all means, do what we did last week. Support the forearms on a bolster or two. Reach through the fingertips. Palms can face up or face each other. Good. Legs are, yeah, that's it. So the block is there. The legs will be apart. That's fine. You don't have to bring the feet together. Remember, the block is there to keep your legs straight. The block is there to find your abdomen. And then when the arms are overhead, try to relax the throat and eyes. That might be the most difficult part. Okay. I know I'm keeping you longer, but as I said, we're doing some abdominal work, so I want to stay for at least 2 minutes. Wow, that's really good. You can do some foot circles if that's helpful to you. Main thing is you're working your abdominal muscles, keeping the legs straight, keeping the arms straight as we did in Adho Mukha Svanasana and Ekapada. Now, Beth, the legs have drifted back below 90. Yes, keep them at 90. You need to bring the legs down, then that's fine. Okay, and then take out the block. Now for just 30 seconds, without block, with the memory of the block, legs to 90. Find 90, no block, no block, no block. Rest your eyes, rest your throat, spread the abdomen. Not like you're contracting the abdomen into a tight ball. The abdomen still spreads. Okay, now take the knees into the chest. All right, have a few bolsters ready to go. So we worked on this some time ago. Anyone who has a neck issue, I would have you go back to either Supta 1 without belt or Urdhva Prasarita Padasana, what we just did. So I'm just putting these, some of you will need these if your feet don't come to the floor. So what we're going to do is, because we've done a lot of leg stretches, which was not how I presented this material a few weeks ago, I'm going to start, I'm not going to teach it this way, bend to bend, okay? I'm teaching it now straight legs because we've done all these leg stretches, and work with our groins. I'm holding the sides of the mat, and then the feet come to the floor. I stay, it's not even I'm staying, I just touch the ground with my feet. If this is easy peasy, take the arms overhead, touchdown. If your feet don't come to the floor, then you build up the support. We went over this behind you. Some people will need 2 bolsters, no problems. Some of you might need 1 bolster or a chair even. So it would be look like this, watch. So I'm back here, back to UPP, Urdhva Prasarita Padasana. I built up height in that manner, touchdown. I don't want to turn my head. Touchdown. Remember to keep the trapezius moving toward the waist. You don't want to hike the shoulders and the skin of the trap, the upper trapezius up. Yeah, Tony, have the blunt, yeah, let the toes come to the support. So the toes will touch down for a second. All right, let me see. Lubna, you have a question? Okay, all right. Keep the head down. Good, Elaine. Head down. Good, Peggy. Touch down. You're staying, all you're doing is touching down, literally. Good, Mary Beth. Good, Beth. Try not to, yeah, don't use momentum. Those of you want to make it a little more challenging, there she is. Touchdown. Good. Start at 90. You don't have to bring the legs back down to the floor. Keep the legs straight. Touchdown. Good, Rosie. Oh, remember the memory of the legs straight. This is why we did all that groin work. Touchdown. Nance, move the bolsters a little further back. You don't even have to, yeah. Remember the arms overhead is moving along. It will, those of you who tend to lift the trapezius up, don't take the arms overhead. Those of you can also palm a brick with the arms overhead, which helps you keep the arms straight. Those who are, Rose, you can take the block between your hands. Remember the block between our legs, it's the same principle. It will help you keep your arms straight. Mary Beth, use the block, good, all right. All right, these have improved. All right, so let me just show what I'm aiming to do. Like, okay, so just say over time, many years, all is well in the world. Take the block, or put it here, it should be on the mat because it might slide away. So over time, this is what we're looking for. We're going to do peri-porta after this. So again, not with a shoulder issue. You don't want to take the arms overhead, not with the neck issue. All right, so I start, let's just say fast forward a couple of years, this should be on the mat. All right, so I'm here 2 minutes, maybe 4 minutes, maybe 5. Okay, so I'm pressing, I'm palming the brick. Why? Because I want to keep my arms straight. I'm sending messages to my eyes and throat and neck to relax. And then I touch down, and I touch down, okay? So that's over time. I think some of you are able to do that now. Mary Beth and Rosie, you're able to do it now. So palm the brick, meaning in this way. The whole palm is pressing into the brick and you're reaching through the fingertips. So the leg, remember what I taught you about this. Look, it's the same principle. The block was between my thighs. All right, it'll help you keep your arms straight. We want the arms straight. You know, as we get older, as you know, the ability to keep the arms, the limbs straight diminishes, right? For many reasons, okay? All right, here we go. Do 5 in that manner and just appreciate how beautifully you can keep the legs and arms straight. All right. Len, I'll have you demonstrate the next, since you requested this. Okay, legs straight. That's good, Peggy. Legs straight. All that work for 45 minutes or whatever it was. All right.
Ronnie,
Yes.
my feet hit the block. They don't hit the floor.
Yeah, mine did too. Mine did too.
Oh.
It's fine. Yeah, it has to do with proportionality. Yeah. I mean, I moved the block a little bit, but you're right. Not at all a problem. Okay, so Lana, let's see your peri-porta navasana, and if you can. So what I will say, look, you know, I'm aiming to go for the gusto today. So we will start from Dandasana, but mind you, those of you who need a wall for the feet to be on the wall or need to start in this manner, which I have taught many, many times, bend to straight, right? Then do so. So I think, I just didn't want to teach as much modifications today. So I'm going to have Lana demonstrate. All right, let me see. So we're doing peri-porta navasana, and we've arrived at a good time because this really highlights so much of what we've done all morning. So she starts in Dandasana and use this position for something. meaning you're reaching through the inner ankles and you're sealing the legs to the floor. That, oh, I want to see, it's good. She has a black tight on, a black mat, but I don't see much airspace between the back of her knee and her mat. She has to imprint that memory of sealing the legs into the floor when the legs become airborne. Okay, so you did, good. So she reclined the trunk backward. She raised the legs up. That's a good angle. Reaching through her fingertips like you did with the block. See how active her arms are, like oars, right? And the boat has to remain afloat. Now lift the lower lumbar up a little bit more if you can, Lana. Okay, and then come back to Dandasana. That's a good pose. Her legs were straight. Her legs were straight. Her lower lumbar spine was not moving down to the floor. She's not sinking in her boat. Yeah, it's not Ardha Navasana. It's full boat pose. Okay, thanks a million, Lana. All right, I'm taking, you can show me everyone in profile. That would be the very best way. Let me remove the spotlight. Okay, so sit in profile and use Dandasana. Again, I'm just using this as a little bit of a theme. Not a throwaway pose. Dandasana, not a throwaway pose. I always tell the story of Manuso Manos having us spend 4 minutes in Dandasana. So remember, not this. Let your eye go to my lower spine, and I'm pressing my fingertips down because I have long arms and using that to lift the spine like you use the arms in Warrior One. And then no space, come on, no space between the back of the knee and the floor. Seal the legs. Now, I'll show this in slow motion. I'm reclining the trunk back and swinging the legs up, and then I release the arms, wrists aligned with shoulders, use the arms to stay afloat. Legs are straight. Lift your lower spine up, lower spine up. Lower spine up. Use your arms to, good, Rosie, to stay afloat. Use your arms. Reach through the fingertips. If you have any back issues, bend the knees and or place the feet at the wall. Okay, so everyone take the legs down, Dandasana. All right, so for some of you who haven't been in class for a while, this might be an effective way to do the pose. All right, so I'm just going to go over this. So this would be sort of at square one, using the wall. The reason now is I can press the feet into the wall and I use that to lift the lower spine. So it's not like this. I also don't underestimate the arm action. Now, the other possibility is to start again in Dandasana, bend the legs, place the hands at the backs of the thighs, and then use this kind of chest to thigh and thigh to chest to lift the lower. Nancy, this will help. And then extend through the core of the heel. So you're going from bend to straight and then extend through the arms. Okay. So pick your modification, be it with back issues, then indeed go to the wall. If you wanted to have a slightly more easeful method of coming into it, go bend to straight. Otherwise, we're doing it again, straight to straight. All right. Dandasana. With memory of floor, recline a smidge back 20 degrees, swing the legs up to about 45 degrees, not 60, and then reach through the inner arms. You can do the modification, Anita, with bend to straight. Good. Stay afloat. Stay afloat. Lift the lower spine a little bit more, Nancy, if you can. Okay, and then release. All right, so now we're going to put all the pieces together. Rosie, would you be amenable to showing the rock and roll through Paripurna? So I'll spotlight you if you.
What do you mean by that?
So just going back to where we were in Urva Prasarita Padasana, swinging the legs overhead and then coming into Paripurna.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So this is where we're going. Which honestly, if you want a quick abdominal workout, and we'll do more on Friday with different poses because I can't get to everything in an hour and a half. All right, I'm going to spotlight Rosie. We haven't seen Rosie. Hi, Rosie.
Hi.
Nice to see you. Okay. So Rosie, as many of you know, teaches yoga. All right. So Rosie, let's do it the arms overhead, if you can. Yeah. All right, so she started, let's start at 90, good. And now on the exhalation, touch down. Now legs straight, come into quickly Parry Pointer. Just touch it. Parry Pointer. With yes. So her arms overhead because she used her arms to come afloat. Okay, that's really good, Rosie. Now you can go back and yeah, you can repeat or come back into Dandasana. That's it. Yeah. There's a slight pause there. That's it. You're in your boat. And now seal the legs to the floor, Dandasana. Bring the legs down and now end in Paschimottanasana. Yes, just as a rest. And then right above the knee, press it down in Dandasana, yes, to Paschimottanasana. All right, so a few times in that manner, okay? 5 if you can, if it's available to you now. If you're getting tired, just do Urdhva Prasarita Padasana or Parry Pointer. You don't have to do all 3. You can do them one by one. Thanks, Rosie. I'm removing the spotlight. Everyone else, let's see. 5 times if you can. It's, use your bolsters. You still might need them. All right, that's it. Good, Lana. And then Paschimottanasana. Okay. Remember, keep your neck safe. Keep trapezius good, Lubna. Start UPP. Yes, touch down for a second. Then through Parry Pointer, good, Beth. And then end restfully in Paschimottanasana, but an active one. Keep pressing the legs down. Keep pressing the legs down. Okay, so these were abdominal poses on our back. Now, there's a bunch of abdominal poses that we'll do on Friday, like planks, high planks, when we're using our upper body strength. But we're not quite finished with the ones on our back. So this is what we're going to do now. All right, just to plant the seed for Friday if you're coming back and wanting more. All right, so we're going to do what I would consider a precursor to Ardha Navasana. So it's like a sit-up. So first of all, I want to show you I'm finding my shoulder blades because in a moment I need to have these guys peeled away from the floor. So watch. I don't want these, when I lift up into this sit-up, the shoulder blades have to come off the floor. So you can have the position of your arms like the real Ardha Navasana, interlaced firm at the webbing behind the head, where you can just have the hands, the fingertips touching the forehead and lift. Or you can even have the hands holding the shoulder blades and lift. We're going to do 10, all right? This is not easy, all right, shall we? So I'm giving you 3, good, Mary Beth. So I'm working with this guy, Peter Donahoe. He's a trainer, and he's on, he's on my hydro machine, and he teaches it with the fingertips like this. So just to show you, so the fingertips are just touching the forehead or not touching, and the arms are in front. The Ardha Navasana, as you all know, the hands are behind the head, firm at the webbing, but really nice, I said, the back of the skull, and the elbows in a gentle U shape, not here, but rather here. Or you can hold the shoulder blades, which I personally like. All right, with that said, let's all do 10. Here we go, lying down, this basic sit-up. All right, I want to see, I have an alter, if you cannot get the good, Rosie, the shoulder blades off the floor, I have something to show you. Beth, you don't have to come up that much. It's much lower. Let me just show you. It's more like the shoulder blades are off the floor, not all the way up. The abdomen is drawing back. All right, the basic sit-up. Legs bent, Nancy, legs bent, feet apart. Good, Tony. Lift up. See if you can do, 5. That's it, Beth. Relax your throat, relax your neck. Keep the back of the neck long, Peggy. I hope this is okay. Put your hands on the back of the skull. All right. So let me show you something because this will help many of you. All right, so if you think about it, what would help lift the shoulder blades off the floor? Just think about it. Using the arms. Remember what we saw with Rosie, using your arms with that creates a little momentum. So watch, you'll go back because some of you are struggling clearing the shoulder blade. The bottom of the shoulder blade might be, Beth, on the floor, but most of the shoulder blade is not. Okay, so if I take my arms and reach through them, like you saw Rosie do, in Parry Pointer, I have more access to lifting my shoulder blades off the floor. It makes perfect sense, right? Okay, so do 5 more using your arms, reaching through the arms. All right, basic sit-up. Now just using Nancy, this is helping. Arms straight. Shoulder, you'll get more of the bottom of the shoulder blade to clear the floor. Yeah, but make it lyric, make it smooth, not like a rocky motion. That's it, Peggy. Yeah, and if it's challenging, Peggy, then put a bolster behind your head. That will help you still, to support the neck and head, Peggy. Good. So use that arm action that we gleaned in Parry Porno. All right, now we're adding a smidge of rotation to it. Watch. So I'm taking my arms out. Extending through my right arm as I turn to the right. And then I'm extending my left arm out, turn. So it's rotational. Do you see? Rotational to the right, to the left. Okay, let's say that this is new work. That's it, Tony. Go right side, that's it. To the left, good. If you need to come down in between, then do so to rest your neck. You can also do it holding, Peggy, the back of your head. Just rotate side to side. Rotate side to side. Okay, now come out. And this I'm sure many of you have done before. This time you're going to raise the feet off the floor and opposite arm, opposite knee. Opposite arm, opposite knee. Okay, with the feet off the floor. This is more for the oblique muscles, like Jeta Parvatasana. That's it. You don't even have to extend through the legs. I know some of you are doing that, but you can keep the legs bent, not straight. One leg straight, both legs bent, side to side. That's it. Rotational again. Good. All right, now rest. Take a quick UPP just for symmetry. All right. Now to keep, so again, these were all on your back. Now for some people, these are much harder than what I'll consider another category where you're not on your back. So just to touch this one, we'll all do a high plank. Watch. So I'm spreading my hands, but we'll go over this much more on Friday. And I'm coming into plank pose. Now, plank pose is not this, where you can see this, I'm spilling the contents of my abdomen forward to the floor. I'm lifting the navel slightly away from the floor and aiming, and this is why I teach this secondarily to the supine, because whatever you gleaned in UPP, this pose is happening in high plank. So just go back to this UPP and you'll have the memory of your abdomen moving back to the floor because you don't have the floor when you're in high plank. And that's why this is alignment-wise an issue for many people. Okay, here we go, UPP. Put the block in, it will help many of you. So I'm using UPP as a platform to teach these abdominal poses. We just spent a lot of time supine. Okay, now, once you've gleaned the abdomen lifting away from the floor, take plank and show me in profile. That's good, Rosie. So I want to see that the abdomen is not moving down. You're not a hammock. The abdomen, remember the sensation in the abdomen in one-legged dog pose. Remember that? Good, Peggy. Lift the abdomen away from the floor. Okay, now let's just try. Feet can be wide apart, Nance. That's fine. That's how we typically learn it. Now, can you remember what you did in one-legged dog? Can you raise one leg off the floor? We'll get into this more. Keep the leg straight though. Good, Mary Beth. Descend leg. It's a lot more work in the arms. And lift the leg up. Remember one-legged dog pose, but the leg, keep Tony, keep that leg parallel to the floor. So what's happened, some of you went back to one-legged dog pose. It's one-legged plank pose. Just take a rest. We'll do Chatuspadasana as a, just take a rest. So I want to go over this whole family of abdominal work on Friday, but I want you to see how we arrived, okay? So that memory that you had in Urva Prasara Padasana and ekapada. Okay, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Before we do chatus, I want to see this. All right, this might help some of you with one-legged plank. You're going to take the blocks. So remember what I said, and have them in front of the feet about one-legged dog pose, lifting from the abdomen. Okay, so watch. I'm now going to come into modified warrior 3, modified because my hands are down on the blocks. So now I have the memory of what I've done in the abdomen. Remember the metrics of warrior 3, the body is parallel. Remember, I have to keep the back leg straight and flexing the foot to help that, but also when you flex the foot, it keeps you that back leg not bent, but the foot in Virabhadrasana 3 is more of Virasana, which helps you move the skin to the bone. So I want you to just do this pose because it will help do high plank, modified warrior 3. All right, when you're ready, use the blocks, show me in profile. So work with the foot position. See, and I think I alluded to this last week when we did warrior 3. When the foot is flexed, it helps you, the aerial foot is flexed, it helps you open the back of the knee. Then place the foot in the classical position, extending through the arch of the foot, and feel how that quadricep muscle hugs the bone. Abdomen depth, lifting away from the floor. So we're in modified warrior 3 where the body is parallel to the floor. Descend and then change sides. So lift the leg from the abdomen. We're past the point that we're lifting the leg from the root of the thigh. Beth, I know it's causing the problem. Take your hands lower to put the blocks on the lowest side and do it because it's causing a distortion in your lower spine. So this is modified warrior 3, not bearing any weight on the arms. Okay, now go back to your high plank and reproduce those feelings in your abdomen. So you're here, watch, in your high plank. You can go wider, that was good. Abdomen is lifting away from the floor, and then take one leg up, and then of course the other leg. It's the same principle, only it's weight, good, Beth. High plank to one leg, high plank. Good, these are better. Don't lose so the thing is, don't lose the body is parallel to the floor, like warrior 3 in high plank, lift the leg. All right, now we'll conclude the class for today doing 5 Chatuspadasans. So this one, you're holding, if you can, if your knees will allow, you're holding your ankles, and then use the upper arm, lower arm to lift the backs of the thighs, buttock to hamstring, hamstring to buttock, and lift the back armpit chest. Chatus. If you need the belt across the ankles, take it. Press the feet, press the head, press the shoulders, and up and down a few times. Raise the armpit chest. This should feel nice after the abdominal work. Keep lifting. Good, Beth. That's it. Up and down. Now, 10 minutes of abdominal work, every other day is really helpful. You don't have to do an hour and a half. You just do bite-sized pieces. And then I think after these 2 lessons, you'll know which bite-sized piece you want to do, based on time, etc. Okay, everyone. Let's all do a lower legs on the seat of the chair for Shavasana to relax your abdomen. When you're ready.
I have to run, but thank you. That was great.
Oh, good. I'm glad. But we're not finished, we'll finish up on Friday.
Always love it. Thank you, Ronnie.
You're welcome. Okay, so when you're ready, lower legs on the seat of the chair. You can rig it up with put the bolster on the tall side so that your lower spine can lengthen. And then again, good, Tony. Put the blanket, if that was helpful, really helpful to have that blanket, and place your hands, move the skin down and spread the skin outwards. So it almost like the blanket is like a little shroud. Okay, and just rest. So I think because so many of you missed the poem that I read at the very beginning of the class, as it was appropriate to us sitting together, I think I'm going to read it again now. So this poem is by Naomi Shihab Nye, who wrote a very, very wonderful poem that I read to you, and perhaps you know, on kindness many months ago. This is fresh. To move cleanly, needing to be nowhere else, wanting nothing from any store. To lift something you already had and set it down in a new place. Awakened eye, seeing freshly, what does that do to the old blood moving through the channels? So let's use the words and meaning of the poem to seeing freshly in Shavasana, meaning that it's not habitual. Coming into Shavasana as though it were your first time. If you can even remember that. What was it like to find refuge on the floor at the end of the class? Seeing clearly, of course. Seeing with new eyes. Putting down, setting aside everything else. What would be like to see each moment with fresh new eyes? And perhaps in your daily Dharma activity today, you might incorporate that, taking something that perhaps is more habitual in nature, seeing it as though you've never done it before, seeing people in that manner, seeing all activities in that manner. What would that be like? Feel like being a child again. Again, keep the gaze of the eyes downward and inward. If you find that you can go inward, coming into a prone shavasana might be helpful because it was a rigorous class and sometimes it's challenging to settle the mind right after a rigorous class. To move clearly, to move cleanly, needing to be nowhere else, wanting nothing from anything, anyone. What does that do? The old blood moving through its channels. You'd like to transition yourself now to an upright posture, spend 1 minute or so seated, that's fine, or just stay where you are, go prone. So in a moment, I'm going to conclude the class and stop the recording. And if you have any questions, please stay on.